All right, the game starts out with pawn to b3. Okay, so I respond with pawn to c5 because I think the idea of trapping the white's bishop in the corner with the pawn to d5 and d4 in the future as an attack, also defense, trying to cover ground in the center. Right, so my opponent does not like the smell of his mom's ass, so I go pawn to a3 to stop knight advance right here, and then he decides to put continued pressure on my d4 pawn by going pawn to c3. All right, so that was a few moves later. But anyways, I respond pawn to e5 to keep middle board control. He takes the pawn, then I recapture d4. So I was kind of thinking like a reverse queen's gambit. I'm not really sure what that's called, but that was the thought process on that. Um, he keeps pushing his pawn to b4, and I send my bishop to d6, hoping to castle soon. And that's the thought process on that right there. A few moves of development later. Okay, here we go. I castle. Okay. So here we go. A few moves later of development. Like I said, I castled. I didn't like the queen looking down my windpipe. That's why I didn't castle on the other side. I like to castle to the opposite. I think that's technically the right way to castle. Obviously, you don't want more pieces coming at you, at your king. So that was the thought process on that. Anyways, he pushes his G pawn, and I recapture right there. He double skipped on that, but anyways, he captures with his queen. The irony of me castling to the opposite side, and his queen is now on my side. Okay, so I double the bishop and the queen in thoughts of queen to c5 in the back of my mind. All right, so that's that right there. Anyways, he's trying to push his pawn obviously down to my king, put a little more pressure on that with his queen on that on my king's side. I decide to double my rook and my king because if you look on their back rank, it looks a little favorable for me. I would say that, well, at least those are my thoughts. Um, so this is why you don't play chess at 2 a.m. Okay, after a long day of work, here's a few more moves, right? Just kind of whittling down the pieces, okay? And then okay, so he defends his king. He doesn't want me to back rank him on queen to c1 or anything like that. Give him a quick check. Not even that I could make that move yet, but just the thoughts of in the future. Okay, so right here, that's a mistake. That right there. This is why, like I said, 2 p.m. It's no bueno. Or 2 a.m. No bueno. King gets sniped. But the thoughts of quitting Weasel, into my mind, into my free frontal cortex, but I proceed in hopes of a better horizon. Um, okay, so yeah, yep. He obviously takes, and I pressure his bishop. Little movement there. It's not looking too good. So, anyways, I decide to push his bishop. All right, I pressure his bishop. He easily guards at this point. I'm playing for shits and giggles, if I'm going to be honest with you. After a few moves, I capture his bishop, and I get a nice little pawn there in return. Like to break that pawn structure up. Okay, so here we go, right there. I move knight to e4, not a good move. Just to pressure his queen, he gets more. It gets a little more central control of the board. This was, like I said, this was a thought, but it was not a good move. But also where a finger slip happened, and okay, right here. God, that's a terrible. I finger slipped. Okay, that was not me. Just bishop to c5. Oh, fuck. You know. Okay, so at this point, I message the guy and I say, "Hey, let's do a little bit of a little rematch, okay? Because I can't do that. I was looking at the possible moves and it slipped. Okay, so I sent Smiley Face a message for the rematch and he doesn't respond. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it. But but at the same time, stonewalling a friendly pickup game of chess twisted me. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to waste. this dude's time with whatever he has left of it, with the dream of still putting him in a sleeper hold. That's where my mind is at right now. So, okay, I send my rook after he castles. Then he takes a pawn with his knight. I pressure it to get a semi-meaningless check. He moves. So this is what I was talking about. Just a little. Look at the time left too. Jesus, I was sweating. Anyways, so he captures the pawn. I pressure with my rook in hopes of a check. He moves. Okay, I check. Kind of a meaningless check. Um, okay, so I move my knight right here. Leave my bishop absolutely hanging. He punishes me. We don't need it. All right. I take his h4 pawn right here, hanging my other knight. At this point, I'm just playing for pride, honestly. I'm just trying to see if I can make something happen. Okay, so he takes, of course, like I said, hung my other knight, and we move. Okay, so I move my rook under the knight on the H file with discovered check being my only hope, truthfully. I mean, look at the board. I'm down 17 points against this dude with 2 minutes and 51 seconds left. Okay. Of course, I get checked again and again and again. Okay, but this time he leaves his knight hanging. Uh, I have to take it. We take it. All right, things get interesting here. Okay, he moves his queen with another check. Or his rook. Sorry, he moves his rook first with another check. I have to move. Well, hold on a second. Deep down inside, I see something that could possibly happen, but he has to kind of play it very wrong to do so. He checks me again, obviously. I'm like, okay, I might as well, move to the e4, defend the pawn for no reason. So, okay, okay, it gets interesting right here. I don't know what he's gonna play again. 2 minutes, 18 seconds. All right, let's just see. Okay, hold on a second. I see something. I see something here. All right, so he moves his queen with another check. I move to e4 with my king. The end is near. Okay. But he pushes his pawn to the f3, which you just saw. But hold on a second. He checks again, but like a phoenix rising through the night. Okay, I push my king to f2. This rate, I don't even know how this is possible. I don't know how he gave this to me. But yeah, my knees are weak, my pit's sweaty. He hits me with queen to g5 and wants me to resign already. It's not going to happen though. Okay, so I move my rook to h6 because I do believe dreams come true. All right, he checks me once more. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some ketchup in it. Knight to g2 discovered check. Jesus, what is going on here? His only defense is queen to h5, with all the odds never be in my favor. My opponent gets a whiff of this finger. Okay, and checkmate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you should never resign. Thank you.